because if they don't order enough carpet, he can't do the job. And if they order too much carpet, they're overcharging the customer. Math is the core of almost everything that we do. How in the world could they write the binary codes to computer programs without math? It is so essential. And see, the problem is if you go to your school board and complain, they can't do anything about it. If you go to the superintendent, which Mark has done, they can't do anything about it. If you go to Rob Saxton and complain, you can't do anything about it because it is coming from Washington, D.C. And before that, it is coming from the UN. It is all tied back together. It is horrible. They are teaching children, kindergarten, second graders, about sex. They are teaching them how to control their urges, and they're calling it health care. Because if they teach the children how to masturbate at this age, they won't have sex. See, it's health care. Common Core, Mark said it, is absolutely evil, and it will destroy this country if we don't start making noise. Thank you.
I figured out how to stop this. The timer Nazi's in trouble.
It's okay, I'll just start while you're messing around with this argument.
You just want me to do away with this darn thing.
I do. It's bothersome, Bob.
It is bothersome. Well, you got 2 minutes to be bothered.
Or to be bothersome. So Common Core is a nationally driven, federally dictated curriculum for K-12, and that in and of itself is absurd. We all know that education should be handled locally between parents, school boards, administration, teachers, and students, based on the needs of the community and the resources that the community has to deploy for the education of its children. So, you know, I would certainly do away with Common Core. In terms of eliminating the Department of Education, I can't tell you that I know every single program that is run through the Department of Education. I'd be very concerned about eliminating student aid for higher education. What would be the impact of eliminating that on the opportunities that people who are poor would have to become taxpayers and also be more fulfilled and successful in life. I'd be concerned about that. I'm not sure that there needs to be a Department of Education at the federal level, however. That conflicts directly with what I said, which is it's local with respect to K through 12, and it should be state-driven with respect to higher education in each state. That, I think, is, did I answer? Oh, education reform, maybe the most important, because I really wanted to emphasize a point that I think escapes our notice as conservatives when we're talking about education reform, and that is that the most important influence on the outcome of a child's education is the family. Right? The teachers can do so much, and they have an impact, but they're probably sitting in front of 20 to 30 or more students teaching. We need to focus on what it means to have the nuclear family, the strength of the family undermined in this country, and the impact that that has on teachers' ability to teach and kids' ability to learn. Education reform, I think we would probably all agree on. I have a record of pushing for greater choice in education, for greater freedom for families and students to choose their school and their curriculum and their classes, etc. And I think we probably, again, all agree on that.
Okay, one of the things that I'll mention for the audience as well as the candidates is that Redmond Patriots has been very involved in the area of Common Core. We have a 40-minute YouTube program on it that was based on a lecture that we give, or a presentation that we give, and I'll email the link to you on that. It really talks about the dirty little secrets and the money trail. The money trail is extremely important. And when the federal government with a straight face can say, we're not forcing curriculum on you, and yet pay two testing companies $350 million to develop tests that the federal government says we want to see every word in the test. You tell me that they're not putting curriculum down our throats. So that's, I'll send that to you. And if anybody else in the audience wants it, just send me an email at rdmpatriot@gmail.com. We'll do that. Quick little question, don't even need a minute for this one, I don't think. Each candidate, what is your opinion of the Tea Party movement, as well as Tea Party members currently in Congress, starting with Joe Ray?
Tea Party, taxed enough already, or is anybody here not taxed enough already? Again, no hands, I just wanted the camera to know that. So, I think the Tea Party movement has been phenomenal. And the Tea Party movement is not dead. It is a group of concerned citizens that have that patriot spirit this country was founded on. In my opening statement, I didn't get to the patriot spirit. I mentioned the 30% of liberals, the 40 to 60% of everybody else, except for the patriots, the ones that helped make this country great and started off this country because they were overly taxed. You're here, you guys are a part of that patriot spirit. And that is why I know that there's still hope for this country. We may be here on this fulcrum of close to the tipping point because we are there. You're here. It's 8:26 on a Monday night. We're going to find out who gets the final rose tonight on The Bachelor. But you're here. Because it's more important to you to make sure that you pick one of us to be your next United States Senator. So I am all for the Tea Party, and thank you for everybody who's been taking part. Thank you.
Go ahead, Mark.
I fully support and embrace the conservative values of the Tea Party. I'm not afraid to say that. I've had a lot of great experiences with the Tea Party down in Eugene. We actually felt like we were outnumbered down there. As I said, Eugene's a fairly liberal town. So I'll give you one experience that we had. Right before the 2012 election here, a bunch of AFP folks and myself, we got on a charter bus. It was kind of one of those unmarked charter buses. And we went down to Reno. And we were out there, we were spreading the conservative message, door to door, doing it grassroots. That's what our country's about. We were spreading the message of freedom. AFP can't support or promote candidates, similar to the Redmond Patriots, as was alluded to before. But the point is, that was fun. I mean, the bus ride trip down was fun. We were talking to some great Americans on the bus. They put us up in a hotel there. We got out in the morning. We had our little electronic pads with us to walk the neighborhoods. It was a great experience because we were out there spreading the message of freedom, and we were spreading the message of conservatism. As I said, I fully support and embrace the Tea Party values, and it's who I am. Thank you.
The Tea Party was a huge factor in our success in winning the House District 54 seat back from the Democrats in 2010. Many of my friends walked and knocked a lot of doors over the entire course, and I mean that literally, of 2010. I admire the Tea Party movement a lot because it is, I believe, a spontaneous grassroots outpouring of distress and political engagement that was initiated primarily because of Obamacare. And guess what? We were right. Right?
You shut down government for the right reasons.
Well, so what I want to say though is that I worry about this becoming kind of more like an Occupy Wall Street movement in the sense that it's co-opted to become a platform to monetize political power. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but this experience has been interesting. I think that people co-opt political movements. This is a grassroots movement, right? I mean, the leaders of the Tea Party are local. They're people in this room.
Okay. We're in the home stretch. I know you're all glad to hear that. We've gone from Tea Party to Pot Party. The National Institutes of Health has reported, quote, the toxic effects of cannabis on the brain may result in impaired neurophysiological functioning, poor academic performance, and the subsequent school dropout, which then results in further neurophysiological. I guess I've been smoking too much. I can't read that anymore. But then we have a wonderful president that goes out there and says, pot's no worse than alcohol. So, in 1 minute, how do each of you feel about the legalization of marijuana? Mark?
Well, I don't partake myself, so I can't really speak to that effect, but I feel that the legalization of marijuana is a states' rights issue, in my opinion. I'm not going to encourage my daughters to get into that in terms of smoking pot. I'm a Christian man myself, I believe in God, and I'm not going to, I'm actually probably discourage them from smoking pot. Actually, I would, because I'm a proud father, and it's not something they need in their lives. In my opinion, would mess up their lives. I grew up as a child of the 80s and 90s myself, 36 years old, kind of a young guy. So I grew up listening to Nancy Reagan go on television and say, just say no to drugs. But the point is, as I said, I believe that legalization of marijuana, it's already been done in Washington, it's already been done in Colorado, but it really comes down to a states' rights issue for me. Thank you.
Jason?
I'm against the legalization of marijuana, although I will say that I think that the science is a little hazy, but I'm not opposed to the medical use of marijuana. I am opposed to Oregon's medical marijuana program, which is widely and overtly abused. However, with that, so trying to be clear about where I stand on the issue, I got to tell you, this is all about taxes. We already tax vices, right? Alcohol, cigarettes, gambling, and we take from those who can, and we, I mean the state, not you and me, but our state takes from those who can least afford it. And the best kind are the ones who are addicted and can't change their behavior. You should see the number of times the Democrats have tried to raise the cigarette tax in this state. And they do it by putting up people who are very well-meaning and who say, if you raise the tax, less people will smoke. Well, that might or might not be true for minors who haven't started, but for people who are already addicted and can't quit, you're just taking food out of their mouths. It's appalling to me, even talking about creating another vice to tax.
Joe Ray?
You know, sometimes you want to know, how transparent should you be?
Is this a confession?
Bill
It's the wrong church.
Bill Clinton said he didn't inhale.